Hello and welcome to the Jungle Gyms podcast. It's a Friday, the 3rd of December, and we've got Paddy and Delboy. How you guys doing?
Good,
All
mate.
good, mate. All good.
Dale, is that an Argentina
You're
top
right.
you've got on, mate?
Yes, sure is. Sure is. Don't want to go any lower. I'm fucking bollocked for the way soon.
Bollock for the hat up.
Aye, mate, that's it. Aye, you're fucking right. Anyway, let's be
Nice one.
happy.
Right, so viewers, thank you for joining us.
Aye, more than welcome, mate.
Why
Always,
not, mate?
always.
We have to be happy. That is a happy Friday. So to the viewers, tonight we're just going to do a wee kind of post-match review of the Hearts game and talk about the other kind of associated issues with Celtic following on from that. But in kind of current news, I think we've had the Steps concert in Glasgow, which is getting a bit of headlines right now. Unfortunate, that's been blamed for the Omicron COVID spike, and the number of cases have been risen to like 5, 6, 7, 8.
No, you didn't just.
Yes.
Oh, no, man. The message is sitting here, man. I wish you'd have heard that. That's fucking horrendous, man. Did you actually write that before you came over? Aye. Jesus, man.
My mate just texted it to me. I'm going to say that. I'm going to say that.
I tell you, I tell you,
Right,
I would do. Mate,
anyway.
I would get rid of him as your mate because that's horrendous.
Aye, it wasn't great. Wasn't your finest moment, Gav, but I'll let you have.
Living by a thread. Right, okay. Celtic and Hearts. Hey, Paddy, I know that you'll be saying that the more to somebody.
Mate, I actually had it in my head
Aye,
before you
right.
started
Celtic
saying
and
it, so carry on.
1-0 to the Celtic and another 3 vital points. So
Right.
tell me if I'm wrong, but the previous game, Aberdeen, that was 2-1, and then the game prior to that, it was another 1-0. So we're just kind of eking by every game right now. And by the way, I really hate Hearts. So I'm glad that we won. The lineup, we had a few people. I think the biggest one was Cameron Carter-Vickers, who never played for personal reasons, and that's kind of none of our business, but it happens every now and again in football. They're human beings, they're no robots. They do have personal lives. But to run through the lineup, we had Hart in goal. In defence, we had Josip Juranovic, and the much anticipated return of Starf. We had Welsh in for Cameron Carter-Vickers, and we had Ralston. In the midfield, we had Kalmack, Turnbull, and Rogic. And up front, we had Kyogo, Jota, and Forrest. By the way, the bench is, I wouldn't use the word appalling, but it's sad.
Listen, you're
The
no
bench
far
don't
away.
look good.
No far away with saying that, mate, because it is appalling. That's probably the
Aye.
word I would choose, or not, to be fair.
Well, see what you think about the
Well,
bench,
Dale,
right? Obviously, the attacking kind of players that you've got in your team for the starting lineup would be Jota, Kyogo, and Forrest. You look at the bench and you've got a Jetty. It's quite grim, isn't it?
Aye, it's man.
Aye, and we know that we're over reliant. We know that we're over reliant on Jota and Kyogo anyway. That's going to be put to the test in the month of December anyway. But the bench, it was like Bain, Montgomery, Beaton, McCarthy, Mikey Johnson, Abada, and Ajeti. Don't think anyone of that bench is really kind of taking given that the Celtic support much faith in what they're going to bring to the team. But
No.
Dale, boy, you actually went to the game. So what did you think beforehand? What was your expectations?
I actually said 1-0. I thought we would win 1-0. I thought it would have been quite a tight affair. I fancied them to just kind of sit in, which they did to a certain extent. They came out a wee bit more in the second half, but I thought the first half it was a bit boring in possession for me. Jota was getting at them. Forrest again gets at defenders, but again last night it's what I've harped on about for years and years. He'll no tackling, he'll no gut for headers, and he'll no put his head in where it hurts. That's why I've always been on the side of I don't particularly like him, but overall, the first half played some good football. Big Starfelt, I thought last night was fantastic. One of his best games in a Celtic tap. Ralston, Juranovic, Welsh, all very comfortable. Turnbull, very, very lazy on the ball. Don't know how many times he gave the ball away last night. I lost count. Easy through balls and all that. And Turnbull's going in his locker to unlock defences and his wee dinked crosses and that, but very, very lazy with his passing in that last night.
See what you said about Forestdale. I thought the exact same way with Turnbull. See, for every single kind of 50-50 or challenge, he shot out every single one of them, mate. It was appalling. It really was, because what he did was see when the ball was going to a Hearts player, he kind of made the motion to run towards it and it looked as if he was going to go and tackle it. And as the ball eventually touched like the Hearts player, he kind of slowed off every single time. And I'm like, why are you slowing down? Just
I don't know.
Your momentum, you know what I mean?
Is that something that's maybe got to be in the back of that boy's head for a long, long time with that horrific injury? Very, very possibly. Know what I mean? Because there was talk at one point that he could possibly not play football again. He's done reasonably well for us, and I think on top form, flying, he could be a brilliant player for us for the next 6 or 7 years. But he's no one for putting his foot in, as is maybe even Calmac to a certain extent. Certainly no Forrest, but again, touching on what Gav said about the bench, we need to remember we brought in the best part of 12 players in the summer, so that's only one window. So obviously we'll get to the January signing. So I'll let Gav jump onto the next bit before I fucking steal his thunder.
No, you're right, mate. And by the way, when you're talking about Starfelt, he was my man of the match. I thought, yeah, he does look awkward on the ball at times, but he was still effective, very, very effective. I think he was up against Ginelli, who was their centre forward for the majority of the game, and Starfelt kept on winning the ball against them. And even whenever Ginelli was trying to run at him, which wasn't very often, Starfelt was well positioned. I think later on in the game, they brought on Boyce, and they had two up front. At that time, it did cause us a little bit of problems, but for me, Starfelt, man of the match for Celtic. Paddy, what was your overall thoughts in the game before we kind of break down the couple of flashes within it?
I thought it was a Jekyll and Hyde performance, mate. I thought the first half was very, very entertaining. I thought we retained the ball well. I thought because we retained the ball so well, it was stretching their midfield, and it was allowing us to basically pick moments where we could kind of put an out ball out to the like Jota or Forrest out wide. Obviously, we kind of toiled. We take our chances until the Kyogo goal. But the first half was good, but the second half I thought was awful. To be perfectly honest with you, we really.
Right. Well, let me ask you. Sorry for interrupting. Right. You thought the first half was really entertaining, and I'm not going to. If you think the first half was really entertaining, my question is, why did we only get the one goal? And Forrest had a good chance, but I think that was only the 10th minute. Craig Gordon saved a shot for Jota. Spilled out. Forrest was running in. He was about 2 yards out. At that point, Gordon got a fingertip to it, and he pushed it onto Forrest. And at that point, it ricocheted off Forrest onto the post, and it cleared the way. But I think Jota, although he was shown for the ball in that game, it wasn't particularly effective. And Jota, spoken about Jota, but Rogic was pretty good. Rogic was our most effective offensive, I think. But even though we were making inroads, we were going through them at times as well as using the width, we only scored the one goal in the first half, and I don't think Hearts were that exceptionally great in the defence. What was your thoughts on that point?
No, I thought Hearts were decent in defence. I mean, they kind of did what they had to do. They came to Celtic Park and obviously expected like a kind of onslaught for the Celtic front line. So in that respect, fair play to them. They did no bad, but we could have been more clinical in front of goal. Again, it's Rogic obviously came in and he was far more a focal point for the midfield that we've seen for when he's at the team. But it's still kind of relied upon getting the ball out wide to Jota for Jota to cut in and try and create a wee bit of magic.
Aye.
It went to Forrest as well. Forrest, I'm going to put Forrest's game down to being rusty coming back from injury, but I thought he had a poor game. Not going to lie. But as I say, I'll let that one slide because he's just back from injury. But he could have done more. But again,
aye. See until we make waves in January, the performances aren't going to change. They're not going to change because the way Ange spoke about. I watched him on Open Goal the other week, and he was talking to Slaney and that and Sai, and the guy's philosophy has been exactly the same for the last 30 years. So it's not going to change, and for me, it's quite difficult to take that in because going to places like Leverkusen and Betis and possibly should be picking up points against two very, very good European sides. And Ange is that adamant that he's got to stay the way he was. And my point is about last night's game, and that is you're not going to always get the best out of Kyogo with the way he plays because again last night, the same as Livingston, Aberdeen, and whoever else, Jota and Forrest and whoever it was, Ralston or whoever's putting balls into the box, albeit the wee man scored a goal last night, you can't expect him to play against two fucking 6 foot, two centre halves every single week and score goals. And I think that's why January bringing in signings to complement him is big. I know you spoke quite a lot about Maeda, Paddy. Again, he's another winger. Do we need him? We would have seen him, certainly, if we can get the likes of Johnston and that, maybe even out on loan. Aye, but I think we get the best out of Kyogo with that midfield player that can split a defence and get the wee man running. No pinging in 30 crosses a night. But I would also love to see us trying out the 4-4-2. Maybe Big Giamakis isn't the man. That might not be the solution, but I don't want to judge the guy now because I judged Stafford early and he's proven me wrong. And that's good.
Same here, mate. Same here.
Aye, so it's so frustrating watching games like that last night and you're looking and thinking, right, let's no play this fucking number 10 in the middle and chuck the big Greek on and then get balls into the box. And if he's winning knockdowns and headers, then you've got guys like Kyogo and that to maybe pick up scraps. But that's the frustrating thing for me. Crosses are coming in the box and Rogic, McGregor, Turnbull are 6 yards out the 18-yard box and you're expecting the wee man in Celtic to score 4 and 5 goals every week. It's not going to happen until January, and it's not going to happen unless Big Ange looks at it and says, right, I need to do this at one point and this at another point. All good managers change it because every game of football in the world at whatever fucking level is different and it can change in the flip of a coin. And that's why the likes of Leverkusen for me frustrated me at 2 each. Go 5 at the back, go 4 in the middle, play 1 up front, see the fucking game out. But is he going to do it? I don't know.
Well, two points to that, Dale. McGinty is he loves his data on here. McGinty's the other guy that comes on with the Jungle Gyms. And he says that Kyogo played his best football in Japan when he played with a striker partner. Right? Obviously, that much is so clear. If you've got a wee guy like Kyogo whose movement is like a kind of ghost forward, you know what I mean? He can find the space, he can get in behind players. He's going to need somebody like a foil beside him who can knock that onto him, dealing the dirty work. A guy like maybe Giamakis, right? But to switch back to your point, is Ange ever going to change away from his system where he's going to play 2 guys up front? For me, absolutely not, because
I don't think so.
He's played the same way for 30 years. He's not going to change it now, is he? You know what I mean? So you're looking at, hopefully, by the time that January comes, you're going to have a guy like Maeda whose pace and pressing ability can kind of stretch the defence even more, whereby if you put in a cross at that point, if he's kind of beyond the defender, then if he puts a ball in, he's stretched them that much that Kyogo's going to get more space to have a shot at goal or get into position. You know what I mean? But in an ideal world, I would love to see 2 guys up front, but with this manager and this formation and this style, I genuinely don't see it happening, mate.
Could be right.
I think it's
I don't know. I don't know about you, Gav. What do you think, mate?
I think it's the mark of a good coach. If he's not stubborn and he's willing to change things. I don't know what formation that Ange used for Australia in the World Cup, or for Brisbane
Same.
Rovers, or
Fucking
Brisbane
same,
Roar,
mate.
or the Yokohama Marinos. I think people can change. Horses for courses. You use the best for what you can do. Like even
Yeah.
Conte, when Conte went to Chelsea and they did the 3-5-2, he wasn't always a 3-5-2 man. He was beforehand a 4-4-2, a product of like a 90s footballer. He adapted to get the best out of a team, and he won league for it. But apart from that, I think, as I said, that's the mark of a good coach. You adapt, you change. And I think Kyogo is not effective. We know he's not effective as a forward on the left or on the right. He doesn't have the pace or the trickery to beat a man, but his movement in the middle is great. However, if you had a foil such as a Giamakis, then that might work out. But I fear the only time we're ever going to see that is maybe in the last 10 minutes of a game when we're struggling to break a team down. And that might be the only time where when Ange rolls the dice and does that sort of thing. But for the time being, things are still rosy in the garden, and Kyogo's going to be on his own up front, which is a shame. But let's actually talk about the goal here. Aye.
Well, see, just before you say that, Gav, see on the flip side of that, you've got to look at Kyogo's goals scored since he's come in. I think the stat was 15 goals in 22 games all in. So you look at that and you think, in that system where he's basically left kind of floundering on himself against 2, 3, 4 men, for him to score 15 goals in 20 odd games is still a great feat, mate.
Oh, aye.
Very impressive.
Making away for that. Making away for that.
I guess the other question is that, can we be more effective if we do change things, or shall we just... But again, the other thing is, in the past 3 games, we've won by 1 goal margins. We really don't want to be dropping points in December, because we've got the game in the 2nd of January to Rangers at Parkhead. We don't want to widen that gulf anymore. So if things are... If we are obviously the better team in every game, but we're only winning by 1 goal margins, should we try and change it up? That's up to him. He knows better than us.
It's going to decide the title. Obviously, January will have a big effect on that with whoever we bring in. But if you look at the quality he's got his fit for, and for me, that this year it's been a lot better with the Dundee sides and the Edinburgh sides and all that back in the league, and watching English Premiership games, and I've seen myself turning it off to watch Motherwell playing Hibs, because it's frantic, it's quick, it's fast and that. But Celtic's quality, for me, you're looking at a Livingston game the other week, and we can't break them down, still talking about formation-wise. Go 3 at the back. Go 3 at the back and play 4 in the middle of the 3-4-3 if you need to. Still play your number 10, but chuck somebody up the top with a wee man to game, because there's no way you can't play three centre halves. Obviously that'll have an effect on the way he plays these wide guys and all that, but there's no way you can't play 3 at the back against teams like Livingston and fucking St Johnstone and all that. There's so many variants. And listen, Ange's in a job because he deserves to be. We're here to give opinions and talk shite, but that's what the podcasts are for.
Dale, let me ask you this question. You mentioned Motherwell there, and we're talking about Kyogo and maybe a possible foil to him to play alongside him. What about Tony Watt right now? He's played, he scored 8 goals. Just throwing it out there. Do you think that he'd be better than Giacomakis to complement Kyogo right now? Is that a big fucking no?
Listen, you can't say anything bad about the boy. He scored more league goals than in Scotland. He's the top goal scorer in the league in Scotland, and that's why you're hearing a lot of murmurings about him getting in the Scotland squad and that. And for me, he should be in it before Nisbet for Hibs, because
Tony Watt's the top goal scorer in Scotland.
The top goal scorer.
I think
Kyogo is joint.
I think it's 14.
Oh,
no, maybe no. 11 maybe. Aye, but I don't know, mate. I think Tony Watt's one of the players that he's obviously been a bit of a journeyman. I think what happened against Barcelona probably ruined his chance of being a Celtic player. I don't know if he maybe handled the pressure being such a young boy, and I think he's played in Belgium and all different places. But I think it's the same as a lot of players. They need a wee arm round the neck, and I think he's found that in Motherwell with possibly Alexander and that coming in, and I think he's a local boy as well. So I think it's just where he's settled and coming back to a massive club like Celtic, probably not a good idea, in my opinion.
I agree with you. I think he could maybe go down the same path, the same dangerous path as Griffiths. Not with the Instagram, but just with the head going. Too much pressure, the goldfish bowl. I don't think that would suit him. But I actually agree with you. But I just wanted to throw that point out. But anyway, the actual goal itself. And a wee side note on the second minute. In the second minute of that game, Barry Mackay left the studs in, and Ralston went completely unanswered from the referee. No yellow card. It was like a proper studs on the chin.
Aye. It was fucking shocking again last night. The goal, Hearts, they can greet and fucking moan all they want. We get one chopped off. We get one chopped off at Tynecastle, first game of the season.
Yep. Yes.
Andy Halliday absolutely fucking assaulted Calmac, if I remember right.
Yes.
Straight red all day. For me last night, Kyogo's goal, offside every fucking day of the week. Don't care what
anybody says. No.
It's offside. I've watched it a million times, and you can get involved in all these fucking arguments with this one and that one. It's offside, and we've got the goal. See, for that, for me, makes it all the sweeter. Fucking get it up them. I've watched it a million times, Paddy. It's offside. It's fucking offside.
Dale, see if you look at it from this angle, mate, it was onside.
Aye. I seen a lot of folk posting.
You looked at it from this angle?
Aye. It's offside. I think.
But it's marginally offside, right?
It's very, very marginal. I think with the VAR,
it's marginal, mate.
Aye. A lot of people are talking about the position of Kyogo and the defender. It's Kyogo and the ball. If you're level with the ball, no matter if the centre halves are fucking 20 yards away from you. If you're level with the ball when it comes across your own side, I think that's where the wee grey area is. But I don't get involved in the arguments because see if they all go it was offside, I prefer to just go fucking miles off, get it up these.
Well, that's it. So the goal itself, obviously Kyogo converted the ball for Ralston. We worked it from left to right, and we passed round their defence. They were camped in at that point, and Anthony Ralston overlaps on the right hand side. He fires in a low cross, and Kyogo, he was ahead of the defenders, undisputable about that. But what I think Paddy's point is how far was he ahead of the ball? We don't have the benefit of the lines. We don't have VAR in Scottish football. I think if a bullet to my head, I would say offside, but would I put my mortgage on it? No, I wouldn't.
No,
very, very marginal. I think the only one who was extremely opposed to it was Paddy's man, Chris Boyd. Did you agree? Did you disagree with his comments? Yes.
I will disagree with everything that fat, baldy, fucking hun bastard says in fucking life. See him, by the way, he's a fucking scumbag. I'm telling you, he's a fucking. I don't want to say it too disparaging towards anybody, right? But see him.
You're in there.
Release the fury.
Release the fury. How the fuck is that fucking prick ever allowed to fucking commentate on Scottish football? He's the most fucking.
No, why? Because he causes controversy like this.
No, I know.
It's exactly the same as Chris Sutton.
No, he's not.
No. I'm not saying he's exactly the same as the Rangers fans hate Sutton because of the way he comes across. Chris Boyd comes across as a steeped in blue, bigoted, fucking horrible human being, which he is. And Sky Sports bigwigs and all the social media attention, they fucking love it. So that fat clown's not going anywhere anytime soon, believe me.
No, listen, I know, and I'm not one of these kind of guys that advocates banning him for Celtic Park, right? Because I don't want to be as petty as that, right? But
no.
when you've got
I'm
fucking,
glad we're above that. I'm glad we're above that.
I'm on, mate, but I'm not above fucking torturing the cunt, right? But see when you've got that fucking moronic fucking troglodyte fucking giving it big licks in the studio. I mean, Petrov's sitting there with Christoph Berra, right? There's 3 of them in the studio. Petrov's trying to get his point across, and this fucking arsehole is giving it, it's offside, totally
Laughing
interrupting
and all that. I watched
Petrov
that.
and laughing.
Aye.
Petrov and laughing, mate. The guy's a fucking...
I watched that today, and other than him being what he is, it was very, very fucking rude last night.
He was
horrible, man. He was.
Dale, mate, that's why I'm so angry about him, right? Because they're allowing this fucking clown to be a kind of focal point of the Scottish punditry, right? This guy's a poster boy for Scottish football.
I know.
That's embarrassing.
He is embarrassing. He is embarrassing, right? And I'll tell you exactly how embarrassing he is, right? Because he's on Sky Sports now, and they wheel him out every now and again for commentary every now and again. I watched a game, and it was, I can't actually mind who it was. Sorry, my apologies.
Aye, that's English games.
He was trying to be wide on the what do you call it? Fucking
Super Sunday or something.
Sky Sports News, the commentary. Jeff Sterling and what do you call him? Paul Merson. And he tried to be right to Paul Merson, mate, and no disrespect to Paul Merson, right? Paul Merson doesn't seem like the brightest light bulb out the planet. But Paul Merson turned around and went like, who you talked to? And he absolutely slaughtered him, and boys like, I don't know what you're talking about. He's a fucking wanker. I absolutely fucking despise him. And I tell you what, Chris Boyd, see if you're watching, I'm challenging you to a celebrity boxing match, and I'm punching your fake teeth out.
I was wondering when that was coming, mate. I've got quite a lot of contacts in the boxing and that, so I can get the ring in the venue and that.
Mate, do
tomorrow,
it.
Mate. I can get it sorted tomorrow, mate.
The night, mate, I'm following the bookie. Date the night.
Right.
To our Spotify viewers, we've had Kenny just message in to say, tell us what you really think about Boyd Paddy.
Well,
have you got to upload your system?
To be perfectly honest, mate, I think he's an obnoxious moron.
That's quite timid.
It is. I'm trying to be impartial here, but for a clown like that to be as high up in Scottish punditry is shocking. And you've got guys like him, and you've got guys like Alex Ray, who really are at the bottom of the fucking pond when it comes to like pulling guys out for punditry. It's an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment to Scotland. It's an embarrassment to Scottish football. And an embarrassment to themselves.
I know. You know what I don't like? Boyd is obviously trying to forge a career in the media, and he's obviously got in there with Sky Sports. Now, I'm not a big fan of cancel culture, but I hope they do something to Chris Boyd. I hope he does something for them to come for him and to ruin his media career, because I do not want to hear Chris Boyd for the next 10, 20 years on my TV when I'm watching football.
Mate,
I want to hear about Chris Boyd's fucking eulogy.
Gav, I've got absolutely no problem, right, with ex-Rangers players doing pundits on the game. Absolutely not. No, I'm serious, mate. I'm serious. See what the likes of Gordon Dale, I don't mind them. But see when you've got absolute mutants like Chris Boyd and Alex Ray coming on talking absolute pish. Christoph Berra pulled him out on the telly after he made his comments. As you said, Dale, he was very, very rude towards Petrov. Petrov's trying to make a comment based on his opinion on the game, and he's just totally cut him off on the pretense of, oh, look at me, I'm Boydie, I'm trying to make a laugh.
It was also the blasé way you done it, because I watched it today on Sky Sport on the clip. It was the blasé way you done it. It was kind of leaning back in the chair and that, and laughing, and he's just, as you say.
And do you know what else? Do you know what else, Dale, mate? The blasé way he went about it with a previous comment when he was talking about John Kennedy, and he called him Big JK. Now, come on. Everybody knows exactly what that's supposed to fucking mean. Know what I mean? Yeah. Arsehole, wanker, prick.
There you go, caller. There's your answer for Patrick.
There you are, Kenny. I'll tell you exactly what I
Yeah.
really think about him.
Yeah, right. We don't want this to be like remembered as a meltdown about Chris Boyd, so we'll move on from there. But
yes.
certainly
Please,
got
thank you, Gav. Cheers.
right. On the 37th minute, unfortunately, our boy Tony Ralston comes off. Looks like a muscle injury. He comes off for Monty, and at that point, Josip Juranovic switches to right back, his natural position, and Monty comes in for left back. So, Dale Boy, what to ask you? Do you think Monty acquitted himself well in the left back role? And does this? I don't think it is, but is this the beginning of the end for Ralston as our right back with Josip Juranovic now moving over to right back?
Nah, not even close. I don't think Montgomery equipped himself well at all, to be honest with you. Same as kind of Turnbull, 10, 15 yards passes, gone astray. I heard a few guys saying, oh, he's a young boy, this and that. Kieran Tierney was a young boy at 17. Calmack came in as a young boy. If you want to be a Celtic player and play in the big stage with a club our size, then what age is Montgomery? Is he 19, Gav?
I think he's either 19 or 20, roughly about that.
So coming on against Hearts and under the lights on a Thursday night at Parkhead, you've got to come on and equip yourself well. There's no way I'm writing this boy off, because I seen too much for him kind of pre-season and a wee bit earlier on to see that there's a player in him. What I do worry about again is the weight in his shoulders that Greg Taylor had when Kieran left, but unbelievably he's just been given a 5-year contract. So I don't know. He looked a bit nervous. As I
You know what I like?
Passing
Sorry
was
for-
great. No, you go.
Sorry for-
Start on it.
What I love is whenever you get a youth being given a chance, being thrown into the deep end, and they take it with that gallousness. And I don't think we've got many people that. And fuck's sake.
Cheers, Kerry. I'm here all night, mate.
It was a good comment. I liked it. Aye. Aye, what I was saying, Paddy, we were talking about Montgomery and how he acquitted himself during that game. What I like is whenever a young player is thrown into the deep end and they've got that cockiness about them, and they've got a wee bit of gallousness, and they don't give a fuck about the occasion. They just play their own game, and they show people exactly what they're made of. I don't think we've got many people like that in terms of our youth products right now. And I want to talk about Mikey. I want to talk about Mikey Johnson later on, but including Mikey Johnson and Montgomery, I don't think either of them have really got it, and I'm not too sure what future they have.
I mean, Montgomery obviously came on for Ralston. Juranovic went to right back. Montgomery went to left back. But you look at him and he looked almost kind of. He looked very timid. I thought he looked very, very timid when he was on the ball. He didn't look he didn't look as confident as he did at the start of the season when he was getting a lot of chances through injury, bare squad, whatever. But I mean, when he came on, he did no bad. But you look at him and he's just not up to speed at all. And then you look at guys like Johnson when they come on. Johnson totally last night absolutely flattered to deceive. He just there's an old saying.
He always has.
Mate, there's an old saying, right? And there's an old saying, and he totally appeared to look like that last night, and he looked like a sand dancer. I don't know if that's kind of PC for these days.
Oh, it's right, mate. It's right.
But,
and that's what I always used to say about Paddy Roberts, and folk disagreed, but he's a Scottish Paddy Roberts, man. Get him to fuck.
He's worse than a Scottish Paddy Roberts.
See, for Mikey Johnson, when I watched him when he came on in the second half, and he lost the ball 3 times in succession, and you heard the fans getting on his back. And I know that Ange is, giving him like cameos here and there. I think he's the same age as Jota. I think he's about 22. I don't think he's got the head to play for Celtic. He's got, in terms of ability, he's got a wee trick here and there. But I know that Hibs wanted him maybe like last season. I think at the start of last season they wanted him. I would have loaned him out at that point. I don't know what his future is.
But
I don't think you're going to make it.
see Johnson though. Johnson's a player that you think that you could kind of throw on towards the end of the game, and defenders are getting tired. He can go and they can beat them a bit of trickery. He can beat them a bit of pace. He can cut inside. He can stretch defenders, but he just doesn't do it. He's like one of these guys that they're so much full of promise and just don't deliver. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
See on that point. So see when you look back at the likes of KT, Scott Brown, Callum McGregor, Aidan McGeady, Sean Maloney, to name a few. When they played every single week. They played in all the big games. They played European football. So without being Johnson and Montgomery's biggest fan, and they're young boys, again, I hope they come good. I don't think we can totally throw them under the bus because they're not playing on a regular basis. I think guys like Brown and Kieran and Calmack and McGeady and Maloney and all these guys benefited because they were playing week in, week out in a tough league and also European football. So these we got the likes of that last night Hearts at Parkhead under the lights. That's a fucking massive game. So
True, that's true.
He's caught in the headlights a wee bit. But again, if you've been in Celtic's youth system for day dot and you're there as a fucking ball boy and you get taught what Celtic's all about and you're a Celtic fan and you're a football player, you need to be able to handle these big nights and handle the pressure. And that's the flip side of the coin. If Johnson and that canny, then they maybe need to go and play at Hibs and play in front of 12,000 people every single week. Dale,
that's what I said. That's what I said to you last week. If you get guys like Johnson, for talk's sake, right, and they're being expected to kind of fulfil a cameo role, and they're not doing anything much when they come on, then surely if they can't fulfil a kind of bit part role, then they're never going to fulfil a full-time role. They're never going to go and take a full-time berth. Wee Johnson's never going to be the kind of first team left winger. So where do you go for there? Do you just keep them on the books for the sake of it because they're young Celtic products? And I'm a massive advocate of bringing youth through, right? But when you've got guys there who aren't doing it, and I know there's a flip side to that as well. Like, how can you do it when you're only getting 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there? But how far along do you persist with it? You know what I mean?
I think for me, in terms of like wingers, flair players for Celtic and going through our youth, I think he's not going to be a Maloney, he's not going to be a McGeady. He's more like a Jamie Smith or a Ross Wallace, if you remember them. I think he's going to go down that route. And he might have the ability, but I just don't think he's brave enough or mature enough.
I think if he goes and plays, maybe January. I think it's a big possibility he goes on loan in January. A very big possibility. And what you're saying, Gav, he could go to a Hibs or he could possibly go down to a fucking Middlesbrough or a Bristol City or whatever and flourish and become as you say, a Jamie Smith kind of guy that ekes out a career. I think he's had a lot of chances, Mikey. I think he's had a lot of chances, albeit I think we put a lot of pressure on him. If I remember right, two games against the Huns, they threw him in up front, playing alone, one at Ibrox, and obviously his injuries. So I don't know, man. I find it really hard to judge him because he's so young, and some games you did see him when he was flying, you were thinking, oh fuck, here we go, man, this is the next McGeady kind of thing. I find it really hard to judge. And is he going to get a run of 10 games this year as we have tried to chase a title? I don't think so. So hopefully he goes out and loan in January and gets a run of games and maybe comes back a better player.
Hopefully. Right, to the viewers, you probably guess it, but there's not that many flashpoints in the actual game. But I'll just read out this wee note for Kenny here. To be honest, I thought Montgomery did okay, but I preferred to see him playing more forward. At the game last night, fans were on Mikey Johnson from the off. He needs fans to back him and a decent run. I do agree with you, Kenny, and I agree with you in terms of at the game. It doesn't do him any good. It doesn't do the team any good if we're booing people during the game. We can talk about it afterwards. But one kind of thing I wanted to bring to your attention, as I said, there was not many flashpoints in the game. Later on in the second half, whenever Ralston came off, Hearts had a chance. It was on the 59th minute. Kingsley, who I think is our left back, quite a big guy, had a free header from a corner, and he again, I think we do zonal marking, maybe partial man marking, partially zonal marking.
No,
I don't know which.
Zonal. It's definitely zonal. When you watch it,
he just ran into the box. He ran into the box and he had a free header on goal, and he glanced it where he should have just had a full contact. Nobody was near him. I'm not talking about 1 yard, 2 yard. It was 5 yards. Nobody was near him. And he looked like a buffoon for missing the chance. And I think all the fans booed at that point because they were just outraged, appalled at how poor the marking was, how poor the defending was. That can't happen. It happened against Leverkusen. When at that point Ralston was trying to mark that guy. But I know that Ralston was trying to mark him, but he got blocked off. But on this occasion, nobody was near him. It was horrible.
Gav, see that chance for Kingsley. I don't even think you can put that down to the coaches putting in zonal marking or man marking or whatever. I think that is just down to total player switching off, because how that guy ended up with so much space was unbelievable, mate. Unbelievable. He was literally left himself in the box with nobody beside him. Nobody even tackling, nobody even putting any pressure on, nothing. That was just totally down to players switching off. And I'm not the biggest fan of zonal marking, but last night there was nothing to do with the tactics for that opportunity. That was just totally down to players switching off. Honestly, it was honestly, it was awful defending. But aye, sorry, on you go.
Dale, see, whenever you see examples like this, and it's not the first time, and obviously last season was fucking horrendous for it, do you put it down to the personnel or a bit of the coaching? Or do you also put it down to one thing I think we'd all agree on, was we don't have much height in our Celtic team? But that particular one, nobody was following him. Even if you had Kyogo following him, at least that's somebody trying to pay attention. He's never going to win the ball. But I think there's so many flaws with us defensively for set pieces. Where do you think our biggest feeling is for that?
I don't know so much the coaching. I don't know about the day during the week. So you're only guessing and giving your opinion. But zonal marking to a certain extent works. But if you're doing it, then as you say, Gav, you're not putting your guy up, so you just need to attack the ball. That's it. You attack the ball, and as you say, we're not blessed with height. Beaton's probably our tallest player, and he's probably the worst player we've got in the air.
Right.
So you're relying on Vickers and Welsh, Starfelt, Vickers are the biggest players, but they're phenomenal in there. Last year, you look, I might be pulling this out of hat, but I think we lost 30 goals the season to set pieces. So I think we're shoring up this year. If they're going to do zonal marking, I think to a certain extent it's all right. But if you're coming up against teams that are bigger and stronger, then you'll struggle. And as you say, Gav, that's when you need guys like Kyogo, even Jota. If they are there and they're going to win headers, then be a pain in the fucking arse. Stand in front of somebody. If their biggest players are number 9, then you put a Vickers on them and you get Jota to stand on his fucking toes. But that's what you do, isn't it? So I don't know. We're no blessed with height. I would absolutely love a big 6'5" centre half to come in January. Obviously, the latest news I've heard is Julian is another 2 months.
Really?
Two months.
Really?
He's supposed to have had a
setback.
Not so much a major setback, but the fact that his knee isn't healing up as quickly as possible, or as quickly up as was expected. So that could add on an extra month or two, and then by the time that he comes back in after that, you've got obviously another maybe 6 weeks maximum to get up to match fitness, which isn't great. It's not great at all, and especially we us knew Welsh is going to be out for the Dundee United game, so you're going to expect that you're back. Well, we'll say that Vickers is going to be back for Sunday, so it's probably going to be Vickers and Starfelt, sorry.
And Dane Murray will get promoted to the bench, you would imagine, if he's fit.
Probably, yep.
Aye.
All skills.
Even us talking about players like Dane Murray and that just shows you how bad it is, man.
Well, that's one of the points that we were going to touch upon was like the kind of injuries that we suffered last night, and is this a case of is it squad depth or is it burnout? You know what I mean?
Burnout. Nah, fuck your burnout. I hate that. I hate it. I don't even like the concept of talking about it. I can understand that. It's just a point that niggles on me a wee bit. Somebody gave me a stat a couple of weeks ago when I was talking about this fucking burnout pish. Mo Salah's played 55 plus games in the last 4 or 5 years for Liverpool, and on a regular basis flies and plays with Egypt and all over the world. Sports science has never been so significant in football, ever. Is it a good thing? Aye. And I also think it's negative as well, because the burnout, the vests, you've done this, you've done too much, you've done that. They're professional football players. And as Bertie Auld says, I get paid to train 5 days a week and I get a day off on a Saturday to play football. That's just my personal opinion. I used to play football Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday was the only day I never played. These guys are getting paid astronomical amounts of money. Even at Celtic. The burnout thing, for me, I think it's a load of fucking bullshit. I don't agree with the concept that there's even such a thing as a professional football player and a thing called fucking burnout. I don't agree with it. The squad,
see when you're playing such a pressing, high tempo game, right? And you've only got such a kind of threadbare squad. Surely you've got to be expecting that somebody's maybe going to pull up the hamstring or a muscle injury, or that's
where the lack of squad comes into it.
So we're not specifically talking about burnout, but we're talking about where that can kind of bring in with the lack of squad depth, because as I say, you can't expect your players to play with such a high intensity game and no pick up kind of muscle injuries, hamstring injuries, whatever, and no have somebody coming in to back them up. But that's the problem that we've got now, is because we're so threadbare. You know
I'm not a sports scientist, so I'll give like a layman's explanation of what I understand it to be. See, for Postecoglou, we know that he likes his players to be super fit. I think if you're going to run like 90 miles an hour every single game, if you're not fit, then you will get those hamstring injuries. That's why pre-season is very, very important, to get people up to those fitness standards, because then you let them go during the season, and they'll naturally be able to maintain those standards. If you have a bad pre-season and then you're expected to run at 100 miles an hour, then you will get those injuries. We watched like Bielsa's Leeds last season. We know that he's famed for really, really high fitness standards. They were like one of the fittest teams in the league. They didn't really have many fitness issues at all last year. Ironically, they do have this year, but last year they were flying at the traps. They fucking beat Man City with 10 men at the Etihad, stuff like that. So I get the question. Is it a case
but Gav, you've also got the fucking
luck's got to come in as well. I mean, a bit of luck.
Exactly, mate.
You through a full season and be very, very lucky or unlucky.
I don't think
it's a case of burnout or high intensity. You'll get guys that are naturally fit. Look at Ryan Giggs. How many times was Ryan Giggs injured in his career? That's just down to, for me, sheer fucking luck, and just a personal metabolism and how the body works. I think it's just fucking luck. You know what I mean? Obviously, these sports science guys will try to do stuff and give them diets and stuff to avoid injuries like that. But
some people would say that Ryan Giggs. Some people would say that Ryan Giggs was a wee bit too fit, you know. But I think there's other candidates.
Aye. He's brilliant.
Aye.
But listen,
he kicked the arse out to fucking keep it in the family. That cunt, didn't he?
We've got a comment. We've got a comment for Kenny, right, and it says, "I thought Starfelt was okay with set pieces, and remember Cameron Carter-Vickers was missing. But I agree we do lack height in defence. What we need is some hard Eastern European bastard who takes no prisoners." Well, do you know what, Kenny? We did have that a few seasons ago. We had Jozo Simonovic. But he was another guy who couldn't play two games in a row. You know what I mean? He played on a plastic pitch and he was out for fucking 6 weeks. You know what I mean? I think like there is an element of unfortunate. You look at last night and there was 4 injuries. You know what I mean? That's definitely like unfortunate.
I don't know how bad Starfelt was. I think Starfelt was just maybe a niggly thing with his knee, but I think he might be okay.
No, Starfelt was okay. If you look back on it, what happened was there was a tackle. There was the ball came in, and he put a tackle in, and it was like a contact injury. Whereas Jota, Welsh, and Ralston, they all kind of went down with kind of maybe like a hamstring injury or a muscular injury or whatever. But Starfelt's was definitely a contact knock, which is good.
Well,
because
I'm glad.
He managed to run it off and play the rest of the game, so you're assuming he's going to be fine for Sunday.
I'm glad this wasn't an injury to Kyogo. I just wanted to see if you remember it. It wasn't so much like a nipple cripple; it was more like a belly button cripple for John Suter on Kyogo. Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
I think the wee guy chucked the bottle also hurt me a fucking half brick when he went down as well. Listen, let's be honest about it. We're Celtic fans, but let's not turn into the other mob and fucking deflect everything. It goes down very easy. You know what I mean? And I think when I've watched it back, the way it looked was, I think he was possibly trying to pull Suter to come with him to make it look a wee bit better. I don't know, man. Maybe he kicks with a fit. Maybe he was just looking for a wee cuddle or something. I don't know, but
he does like a cuddle. You notice that every time an opposition player goes down, he's always the first one over to give him a wee.
Every time, which is fair dues. Listen, he might just be a nice guy, or he might just like a wee cup of the homos. We don't know. You know what I mean? I seen you clenching your lips here, Gav. What has he got to say? Oh no, mate.
Sometimes listen, you don't know.
I know, mate. I know, certainly. Oh, there's big man. He's got the tap off now. He's ready to fight Chris Boyd.
Yes, come on.
I know. Yeah, how good was that block for Kalmack on Liam Boyce right at the end? How good was that? Last ditch defending.
What about, by the way, listen, just on that note, I thought Starfelt was unbelievable last night. As I said, I've said it umpteen times on here before. I was one of his biggest critics, but I thought last night it was sensational. And I thought, that was his best game for us last night. And he was so integral to us getting that 3 points. Honestly, it was absolutely brilliant. And, honestly, credit where it's due. It was phenomenal. And even more so because it was beside Welsh and then Beaton. You know what I mean? And he'd obviously got up that rapport beside Cameron Carter-Vickers. So all credit to him. Fair play to him. Brilliant.
Right. The biggest one, okay, and talking about injuries, we'll just kind of finish off the injuries. The biggest one is Jota. We don't know how long it's going to be for. We think it's a hamstring injury because he was holding the back of his left thigh. So if Jota is out for, say, 1 or 2 games, hopefully it's not longer. What do you think, Jinklet? Forrest on the left and Abad on the right? I think that's...
Well, I did hear Postecoglou saying that it wasn't too bad. He came off as almost like a precaution. So you're assuming that he's definitely said that he's going to miss Dundee United Sunday.
You can play a bad obviously at the weekend. Then I've just got the pictures up there. So Bettis is a back keeler. So listen, see for me, I don't know if Bettis was on the agenda, but see the Bettis game. It's 3 days before we play Motherwell at Parkhead. We're guaranteed conference football. And one thing I have noticed with Ange, even the likes the Rafe Rovers game in that, Gav, he never started the likes of Scales and that, who we had just bought. So surely to God, on Thursday, he plays a totally different starting 11 against a Betis we don't need to beat. We're guaranteed European football after Christmas. So play your Giacomakis, play Scales, play a Liam Shaw, play fucking Bain, play Giacomakis if he's fit, Mikey Johnson, guys like that, and then hopefully Motherwell at home. You're maybe a wee bit early for Jota, but then we go Ross County away, and then it's the Bertie Auld Cup final. So we'll get big games coming up. So Betis, play a second string team.
But is he going to do that though? That's the issue. Because
the logic in it.
No, I know
everything, and it's a fucking must.
Dale,
it's a must.
Dale, you're spot on, mate. The logic is there that you play a fucking second team, but I don't think he's going to do that. I think he's going to.
He's never done it. He's never done it.
Exactly. He's going to play strongest team.
Say that he does do that. He goes with a second string team, and we get turned over at Parkhead. Like, I'm just thinking worst case scenario. I shouldn't always be doing that. But say if we do get turned over at Parkhead, and the fans go on, the players back. Fuck the media, but predictably the media will go on the manager's back as well. How do you think that'll help us navigate through the month of December if we get turned over at Parkhead by Betis?
In hindsight, Gav, right? If we get fucked by Betis, then we're all going to slaughter, and we're going to slaughter the players. But you know what? In hindsight, and in the long term, does it matter? It really doesn't matter.
Betis is qualified as well. I see, to be perfectly honest with you, any fucking normal thinking Celtic fan who would slaughter a Celtic team going out against Betis with Ralston and Kyogo and Jota and that getting injured the other night and getting on a Celtic team's back for possibly going out and getting beat fucking 4-0 at home with Betis, for me, hasn't really got a clue about fucking football.
No, I know, but it's
the bigger picture. The Betis game for me, it's a write-off.
No, I know, but you're still going to moan. See if you get beat 4-5-0. Obviously, hypothetically,
everybody's
still going to moan about it.
Me personally, I'll know. Me personally, I won't. But
I absolutely understand that. But you're still going to moan if you get absolutely pumped that night. But what I'm saying is
the bigger.
I know. But what I'm saying is the bigger picture is the next game. Betis doesn't matter. Betis does not matter. Betis is a moot game, right? But see if you still get pumped, people are still going to moan about it. But what I'm saying is that will happen that night. It will happen the next day. But see, after that, it'll be forgot about.
No, because Motherwell's next up, and it's a
exactly. So you move. So if you get pumped that night after Betis, as I say, hypothetically, you're going to moan about it. You're going to grumble about it. You're going to dissect the tactics. You're going to do this and you're going to do that. But the next day, you're going to say, right, okay, that's it. It was a moot game. It doesn't matter. You're going to move on to the next game against Motherwell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Aye, I get you. The league is the bread and butter. It's a dead rubber. It's a dead drummer. The only thing I'm thinking of is we're going to be watching it on TV. It'll be on BT Sport, and you've got the fans who are going to be going to the stadium. There's always pride whenever you turn out for Celtic. So I'm just thinking of how many of the how many first team regulars is he going to invest into that lineup for that Thursday game?
Well, Gav, honestly, for Andy's kind of historical fucking lineups for his game to Celtic, you're going to assume that he's going to be playing a first.
Did some play over the rain just in case you wonder why I kept turning in there. The rain sitting here.
Is that you discussing tactics in with Play-Doh?
Yeah, I'm just going to build a select team for the weekend. Goalkeeper and that, right? Right back, left back.
But no, as I say, I'm just probably going to play strongest team, which he's done every single game since he's come out of Celtic. But
yeah,
whether he needs to and whether he will is a totally different conversation. I think he will. which I don't think is personally quite right, because they should be looking forward to the next game, because Betis is obviously it's an old game. It doesn't matter. Although at the same time, we'll still probably moan about it if we get pumped. You know what I mean?
True. I just realised we've been talking for 1 hour, one solid hour on the post-match game. I just want to just rhyme off a couple of things. I know that stats, we always do stats. You can't read too much into it, but this might surprise people, especially the second half, because Hearts kind of came into it more. But possession-wise, Celtic 69 to Hearts 31. And for shots, by the way, if I tell you that the shot stats, you would have thought that Ryan Christie was playing for Celtic. So we had 25 shots,
25.
but only 5 of them were on target.
Hearts was 10 or something like that, didn't they? 10 and 11.
They had nine shots, but 2 of them were on target. Here, by the way, the Forest chance. Remember the Forest chance when I think it was the second half when it was played through and Craig Gordon just had to kind of stick out a wee left foot. He should have fucking scored that. But anyway.
About big Lizzie and goals anyway. What a save that was in the first half with that deflection. That was it. Was it McGregor? Was it McGregor?
Yes. Yes.
What a save! What a save!
It was hitting the post, Dale. It was hitting the post.
Aye, it's good, man.
Aye. Some people are saying that Craig Gordon's like a fine red wine, just getting better with age. I don't know.
He would agree with that. He's fucking stinking. That's what you mean.
Aye.
Sour grapes. Aye, sour grapes.
Aye, fuck off, you and your sour grapes. Anyway, moving swiftly on before we bore our viewers.
Can I ask you one thing? Please, though?
Yes.
The last question about the Hearts game. There was a bit of chat about this before we played them, and obviously after, I think he did okay. He scored for Scotland in the last game. John Souttar, I think he's going to be a contract maybe in January or at the end of the season. A few people have said that John Souttar could do a job for either Celtic or Rangers. Would you touch him?
No.
I would disagree with Paddy. I would.
Better than Welsh. I would say.
I don't think he done anything kind of out of the ordinary last night to say that he could be a potential Celtic player.
I think again, he's injury wise, he's been very, very unlucky. The boy. Watching his performances over the last couple of months, and also with Scotland. Aye, he looks a player. For me, he's better than his compatriot for across there at Spinburn land there in Leith. He looks a better player than Porteous, to be honest with you. So, I think he looks very, very good. And I think if he keeps fit beyond January, I think he can, as you say, Gav, I think he can speak to clubs in January, and he's a free agent in the summer. I might be wrong, but I'm sure that's it. I think Hearts were talking about possibly a £500,000 fee if he goes anywhere in January, but I think he's young. He's not got a lot of critics. You hear a lot of the managers, ex-pros, and guys that like to talk about football saying that he's a very, very good player. So, would I sign him in January? Possibly no, but I would certainly be keeping a very, very close eye on him.
That's a good point.
You don't like him, Paddy, do you?
I think from what I've heard a couple of ex-Rangers pros saying that they are friends with his family. From what I hear,
that's it. That's it. No, it's not happening. Get Charlie McGrew back to Dundee United. He can fuck off.
Aye. My point is, I do suspect he's a blue nose, but whenever you earn that big contract, it doesn't matter. You'll try your damnedest. For example, Neil McCann, he grew up a Celtic supporter.
Fuck Neil McCann! How dare you?
He got the big move.
How dare you grace our podcast with his name? How dare you?
Yeah. Mate, you had the fucking Boyd Milktown.
Fuck Neil McCann and all. Him and his rule book.
I think this is going to be a very, very busy charity boxing night for Paddy. I think we need to line them up, guys. John Stewart, Neil McCann, then Chris Boyd.
Bring it on. Bring it on. Aye.
Aye. But my point is, I think from what I've heard a couple of ex-Rangers pros saying that they are friends with his family. From what I hear, I do suspect he's a blue nose, but Right, who's going to be the honours for Paddy on that night? No too sure.
Well, I'll tell you what. It certainly won't be Bernard Higgins who we're going to talk about next.
Right, take it away with Bernard Higgins. What was the latest protest, Paddy?
Aye, so
You carry on for a wee then, Paddy. I just need to go for a quick fag, and I'm fucking fed up talking about this fucking rat anyway.
I know, mate. I know. It's because you can't stick up your baldy compatriots. But no, listen.
The bad boys, I'll be right.
What's happening, man? No, the Celtic support were in full voice again, Gav. Especially about their continued disappreciation of the potential Bernard Higgins appointment. You're looking at kind of protest from as far as Berlin to Belfast. You're seeing signs of kind of red arrow through Bernard Higgins' face.
Can you mute? Can you mute Hingamajiggery now until he comes back, please?
I will do. That's unmuted. As I said, there's been kind of visual protests as far as Berlin to Belfast for Bernard Higgins. The rumoured appointment, potential appointment. It was the same again against Hearts. And I thought the Green Brigade made themselves very, very clear. They didn't speak for the full Celtic support, but I thought they spoke well on behalf of the full Celtic support. They asked every individual Celtic supporters association to bring their own banner to obviously show their disappreciation for this man's appointment, which a lot of them did, and fair play to them. Great banners, great voice, great words, the full pelt. And I thought they did very, very well in that respect. But that brings us on to the next kind of talking point, is when that kind of protest was very, very well thought out. There was one or two moments at the game. There was one or two moments at the game that totally ruined it. Totally kind of absolutely flung out the window, because this guy's been spoken about coming into a high-ranking security position.
That's a good point, actually. That's a good point,
mate. And you look at what happened at the game, and there was some fucking absolute clown or clowns were flinging bottles at Barry Mackay, who went out to take a corner a couple of times. Mate, it's absolutely fucking brutal. When you've got guys that are putting effort into kind of trying to explain why they don't want this kind of guy into a security position, and then you've got security issues at Celtic Park with guys flinging bottles at fucking players. It's ridiculous. It's shocking.
I agree. What I will say is that you can never prevent idiots being idiots.
No,
as we saw. However, I think so that was last night we played the game, and today we read that a 24-year-old man has been taken into custody for doing that deed, or allegedly throwing that bottle. Was it a Lucozade bottle? Aye.
It was. It looked actually like one of the fucking 69 pence fucking fake Lucozade bottles, but
I'm just glad that wasn't a bottle of Jeg or a half bottle of whatever you're drinking there.
No. What happened was, well, for what I saw, mate, was that somebody trying to hit him with a bottle, kind of the second half, and they missed. And then maybe 5-10 minutes later, he went to take a corner again, and somebody actually hit him in the back with a bottle. But
why you unmute Dale, mate?
It doesn't matter whether like they actually hit him or no hit him. The fact that they actually tried to hit this guy with a bottle it's moronic, mate. It really is, because you've seen this season. Dimitri Payet in France was hit with a bottle and the game was stopped.
Oh, that was bad. You
know what I mean? And we're just playing into the mainstream media's hands. We're playing into everybody's hands. Be fucking behaviour like this. It's moronic, mate. It really is.
It happened to us.
Sorry, I don't know how far down the line he's in with that conversation, but there was a guy arrested today. Is that right?
Aye.
Yeah.
24-year-old. Aye, good.
Aye. And the thing is, like, it happened to us whenever we scored the winner, when Jota scored the winner against Aberdeen at Pittodrie, and there was like stuff thrown onto the park.
Yeah.
It happens all over Scotland, but I just want us to be the better support. I miss the days whenever we used to get plaudits for our fans being like one of the best in Europe, the best in the world, getting those like FIFA Fair Play awards and stuff like that. I miss those days, and you can't account for like the odd stupid idiot doing things like that. That slap against Dida against AC Milan.
Hey! You leave him alone. He never done anything. No, the boy that slapped him.
All right, he shouldn't have fucking been there. You know what I mean?
But do you know what? Do you know what? I actually know the boy that ran onto the park that night, and out his own stupidity and being drunk, he ran onto the pitch. He never slapped him, right? He tried to kind of touch him he actually touched him on the shoulder, and Big Dida went fucking flying down like a sack of spuds. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. You look at the game against Linfield. I think it was a couple of seasons ago. Lee Griffiths had fucking buckfast bottles flung at him in the corner, right, and nothing happened.
Same as you, Paddy. The wee gimps that drink the half bottles it was, wasn't it? The wee kid on bucky drinkers it was, I'm sure.
Shut up, you baldy bastard.
Yeah?
That's right. Like, who believes in half measures?
You would expect that for somebody that drinks half bottles, to be honest with you.
Mate, you're a disgrace. Get back to your own podcast. But no, anyway, before Dale rudely interrupted me like Chris Boyd, and I need to start fucking offering him a score.
I know, I should have done it. I should have done it like that there, shouldn't I?
But no, in all seriousness though, right? For as you said, Gav, we try to hold ourselves in higher standards than other kind of supports, right? And for some fucking crackpot, some idiot to go and do that, it just totally, as I say, it just shows a kind of counter-action towards the protest that we've got against Bernard Higgins for the security issues.
Yeah.
And I would like to think that it was kind of pointed out last night. I'm not trying to advocate that somebody goes and be a grass or anything, right? But sometimes you just need to fucking say, do you know what? Stop being a fucking prick and behave yourself.
I had an issue at the game last night that I was actually speaking to the missus about the day that went kind of under the carpet as well. There was a bit of facts, no that. In fact, I'm not going to actually talk about it on this, to be honest with you. I'll let it fly. Don't want to talk about it.
It was a prick.
I'll tell you what happened at our time.
Well, listen, do you know what, mate? We've got pricks in every support, right? It happens. But as long
on another note, Paddy, mind I was telling you about, sorry to go off the course here, mind I was telling you about the steward that got dragged about with an unnamed person who I don't know, and I wasn't there, by the way.
Yes.
I don't know what happened.
What happened with the steward and the unknown person? What happened, sorry?
Oh, Gav, so when we were at the Hibs semi-final, always used to be the case at Hampden at half time. They opened the doors and you could go for a fag. So I think obviously due to COVID and having to check your phone and all that for your stuff, they weren't letting people out. So there was a lot of people just going down to the toilet for a fag and all that. As you do, hams at Parkhead, hams everywhere. So I said Stuart grabbed a 60-year-old plus pensioner and tried to pull him out of Hampden with a scruff of the neck. So a few people get involved. And get in between this said Stuart, and he ended up getting a crack in the head and falling down a wee flight of stairs. So the point of the story was, Paddy, see when I went to the Happy Mondays on Tuesday, that was the first guy I seen walking into the hydro was that Stuart checking
it's going on.
That guy, as soon as I walked up, I says, that's that guy that was involved in that incident that I was nowhere near, that get punched at the Hibs game. And I was like, I don't want to say too much in case I incriminate myself, but I think he still had a wee bumper off his eyebrow.
Was it Happy Monday for him, man?
No, certainly not. What's next on the agenda anyway? What else have we got tonight?
Next game away to Dundee United. So I think one of their stands is has been closed down because of bad weather or something like that.
Yep.
So there'll be less Celtic supporters being able to attend, unfortunately. But apart from that, we know about the injury list, the people who were going to be playing without. But I don't really know how Dundee United have been doing so far this season. I think it might have been a mixed bag. Let me just try and check. Dundee United are fourth actually. Fourth. They're only two points behind Hearts, which is pretty good actually.
So the results, the last 5 results are beat St Johnstone at home 1-0, beat the Hearts 5-2, they beat Aberdeen 1-0, drew with Ross County, and lost against Motherwell. So one victory in the last 5 and conceded quite a few goals. But as you say, they're sitting fourth in the league, 25 points. So I think they've probably exceeded their own expectations, to be honest with you. But they've got no bad side. Obviously, I think that the 5-2 against Hearts, as far as I was led to believe, kind of flattered to deceive a wee bit, and the result probably didn't deserve to be 5-2. But fourth in the league, it's not going to be an easy game. Tannadice, but has, I don't want to cross, but it's always been quite a happy hunting ground for Celtic.
The last time he played there was Albin Ajeti, who scored the winner.
Yep. Early on the season,
So more to the point, then, who's going to step in for the injured players? Because I'm thinking, like, mate, I honestly think he's going to play Johnston at the kind of left hand side instead of Jota, because I think he'll go with Forrest.
I think Forrest will play left. And
no. I think Forrest will play right and Johnston will play left. Because he never brought Abad on Sunday.
I can see Abada starting, to be honest with you.
Nah.
Abada's got goals this season. All he needs is for his confidence to be up, and he'll be okay.
No, but Abada's played mainly right. You know what I mean? Forrest is back.
He will. I think Abada will continue on the right, but Forrest will switch to the left because Ange's played him on the left before.
That for me as well, tactics wise, is always not a bad shout. If Jamesy's playing out left and Abada's playing right, then you're cutting in on a natural right and left back on their bad side. So if James Forrest is playing against a naturally right-footed player at right back, and he's constantly cutting in, which he tends to do, then it's possibly not a bad tactic. To be honest with you, I couldn't tell you Dundee United's fullbacks. You've got Charlie Mulgrew, Mark Reynolds, Big Charlie's actually had a good season, and just looking at it here, he's actually played the last full 9 games, 90 minutes. 35-year-old. Said that in the summer. I brought him back to Park.
Well,
I think we've spoken about this before, actually, but
the big question is going to be who plays at left back then, because obviously Juranovic is going to play right back.
Aye, and if Gav, because if he's not playing Scales for whatever reason, and bringing him on last night as a naturally left-sided fullback, left-sided centre half, whatever you want to call him, then you've got to think that Montgomery's going to start, because if no, he'd have brought Scales on last night instead. So
and he wasn't even on the bench.
And I find it strange, and obviously he's only played, I think he's come on 3 times, if I remember right. And he's looked all right, but again, this is 3 guys just surmising what the coaches are seeing day to day in Lennoxtown. So
I'm actually a wee bit worried about the lack of physicality with Ralston not being in the team. I think we underestimate how important he is. I know that Juranovic is now going to be playing in his natural position on the right, and Monty was obviously a natural left-sided player, but the physicality that Ralston has going forward and back I think he brings a lot to the team. So
well, that's why you would probably hope that Scales gets a shot at left back for the
again,
physical.
as Gav says, he wasn't even in the squad last night. I don't know if he was.
No,
I don't know.
I know.
Was he injured?
No,
Why would he not be in the squad?
it was a small bench. We only had like seven people on the bench.
You can only assume that he wasn't expecting for Ralston to get injured or Juranovic to get injured, so it would have been like for like either side, you know what I mean? But as Gav says, for the physicality, you would hope that Scales gets an opportunity at left back because Montgomery's certainly not going to give you physicality.
Yeah. And
but,
also,
but again, it comes down to the fucking left back lottery that we've spoken about quite frequently on the podcast.
And Rangers play Dundee at home this weekend, so without sounding too pessimistic, it's Tannadice is a hard place to go, and you don't want to be going into this run of games up to playing against the Mankey mob and being 7 points behind, getting into a Motherwell game at home, which every game's fucking tricky. Every game's tricky.
And as you said, that season is very, very competitive. The Edinburgh teams are doing well. Rangers and Celtic are obviously there.
And that's another point. That's another point. So we obviously spoke earlier on about the way Ange wants to play football. I'll ask you this, Gav. Is that a fucking easy look for a manager to all the other SPFL sides and their managers to just know how to set up against Celtic? Well, if they keep on playing the same way every single week?
I think at the start of the season, it was really, really easy to exploit us doing our introverted fullbacks. Now we're not getting caught out so much. Like our goal difference is the best in the league. Our defence, stats wise, is still the best defence in the league. I know that in Europe we've been totally exposed, but I think at the start of the season we looked very, very easy to exploit. Nowadays, not so easy at all.
Aye, but my worry is, we've spoke about Ange's philosophy, and as I say, January's going to be big, but you don't want to be going into a Rangers game 7-10 points behind, them coming to paradise, and because they played Dundee at the weekend at home, we played Dundee United away, so you want to keep that 4 points until we get to them, or possibly claw it back, because after Dundee they play Hearts away, St Johnstone at home, Dundee United at home, St Mirren at home, and Aberdeen away. So it doesn't look as if they're going to drop millions of points. Like the other night against Hibs, I watched the game. The game was shite, but they clawed out another 1-0 victory, and albeit, as you say, best goals in the league, best defence in the league, still 4 points behind.
True. As long as that 4 point gap does not get any bigger, December is going to be fucking difficult for supporters. Two games every week, it's going to be fucking difficult. There's no getting away from it. Want to ask you a question then? I think we've kind of probably been through everything. I was going to ask you a question about Rangers, but I don't want to, so I'll ask you a wee question about Argentina. Who's your favourite player to represent Argentina apart from Maradona and Messi?
Oh, well, I'll tell you who, it's just popped to my mind. When I was younger, all I watched was Italian football. Don't watch it now, but I don't know if you're old enough or I'm fucking showing my age, but I used to watch Italian football every Sunday afternoon with my dad.
Yes, I watched it myself.
Channel 4, the wee English guy used to commentate on it.
By the way, he actually looked a bit like yourself, Dale.
Aye, sexy baldy guy. I know what you're talking about. Javier Zanetti, Inter Milan legend.
Aye, number 4.
Argentina, right back.
A lot of guys you could rhyme off, obviously kind of Crespo and that, but I always played defence when I was younger. So when I was younger, obviously growing up, I used to always watch Italian football with my dad. So my heroes when I was younger was Zanetti, Maldini, Baresi, Cafu, they kind of guys. But Zanetti, I'll go with Zanetti.
Zanetti, an absolute legend, and he eventually won the Champions League with Mourinho under that that glorious season they won the treble.
By the way, just to
2010.
chime in, Gav, Kenny's posted in. He says his son-in-law is an Arab, Dundee United supporter. He says they're very confident for
Oh, I
Sunday.
was going something else here.
Their home form is decent. Shut up, you. The home form is decent and not going to be an easy game. I think he might play Bowley. Sounds daft, but
Oh,
he's done it before.
fuck off.
Where the fuck is Bowley? Again, he wasn't on the bench. Like, where?
Well, we've spoken about this before with the left back lottery. So, Ralston being injured, Juranovic is obviously going to go to right back. Then it's anybody's fucking position at left back. So potentially it could be fucking Boy, it could be Montgomery, it could be Scales, it could be fucking it could be fucking Gavin Strack for all we fucking know at left back. You know what I mean? It's
true. Aye. By the way, Kenny, thank you very much for watching the full episode. Thank you for actually hanging in
Legend.
And just before we finish as well, Mr. Feed the Bear has...
Thanks, Feed the Bear, I know him well.
Thank you very, very much. Thanks very, very much, Roy.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Feed the Bear. Legend, man.
Appreciate it. Aye, right, okay, so Sunday then. Sunday we've got the next game, Dundee United. I think it's at 12 o'clock kickoff. I'm sure it's going to be on
Sky.
On Sky.
Sly,
It has to be.
If anybody's watching, please don't subscribe to Sky. Get yourself a fucking illegal stream. Fuck Sky.
Aye, 12 o'clock on Sky Sports Football, Gav, it is, aye.
Nice one. I'm sure Chris Boyd will be there as per usual.
Aye, I'll fucking see him outside the cunt.
Right, Dale, thank you so much for actually joining me and Paddy tonight. I don't know how I would have coped with just me and Paddy.
Aye, it's a pleasure again, guys.
Aye. For any of the viewers, I'm absolutely pushed. So thanks very much, Dale.
Aye, always good, mate. Always enjoy it, man. Just a wee shout out. We John Byrne done a wee charity night last week. I don't know if any know about the John Byrne Foundation, but if you don't, jump onto Facebook, the John Byrne Foundation. The wee man does amazing things for kids' hospitals and all that all over Scotland. I done a wee charity night the other week, 800 quid on the way to the boys' charity. And he's also just been given a 3-year magazine deal, the John Byrne magazine, found for the foundation, Paddy. I don't know if you know that, but
no, I did not, mate.
I spoke to him today. So well done, John. Keep up the good work, mate, and I'll catch up with you next week. Also, Celtic State of Mind, the charity weekender, Paddy.
What's that?
The boys, Paul John on a Celtic State of Mind. Obviously, they're a award-winning Celtic podcast that are on daily. They do the weekly stuff and all that. They do a charity weekend every year. 12 hours on a Saturday, 12 hours on a Sunday. So, any's jump onto that. I think it's 9 o'clock Saturday morning and 9 o'clock Saturday night, and the same on Sunday.
What's that for?
The day, I can't remember what the charity is this year. I think Paul John Dykes, that's who runs ASCOM, or the Celtic State of Mind. Your old dad's on it tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Luckily, I've been invited on for a chin wag, so keep a wee eye out for that. I know, mate. I don't know why they must think I talk sense or something like that, but I've been invited on tomorrow, so keep a wee eye out on that. I know they do a lot of good stuff for charity and that, the guys as well. Seen a wee post on Twitter, I think, yesterday for the charities, and ignorantly I can't remember. As you say, I've said to you before, Paddy, like me and you're quite good at getting another wee podcast and that a punt. So have a wee eye out for the guys tomorrow. And if you can donate, I think they're trying to raise 10,000 quid. They've got a Just Giving page in that. So if any's are on Twitter or anything like that, give them a wee like, a wee retweet for their charity stuff and get involved, trips.
Brilliant, and as we're always involved in charity, if everybody could look at Dale's podcast as well, which is the Celtic Supporters Podcast. Have a wee like of that, a wee subscribe. And also, myself and Dale do the Sunday supplement on a Sunday, obviously. So
we'll be back on Sunday as well. Gavin, you're always more than welcome to jump on. for a wee chat. Probably not normally about 7 o'clock, Gav. If you fancy Sunday night after the Dundee United game to jump on for a wee chat.
Cheers, I appreciate the offer. I've been offered double time, overtime on Sunday, so I'm going to be doing that after the game. But
who by Axel?
Imagine that. me freelancing across all the podcasts.
That's how you do it. That's the way to do it, mate. That's the way to do it.
Aye. I think after my joke, my steps joke for the start of this episode, I don't think I'll be getting many offers.
You'll certainly not be getting any offers to fucking support Kevin Bridges with that push anyway, I'll tell you that.
Aye.
5, 6, 7, 8. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Awful. Fucking awful.
It was, man. It wasn't the best, but
by the way, fair play to you for fucking saying that on air, though. Fair play to you.
Aye, mate, I know.
You must have fucking balls like space hoppers, mate.
Aye. Right, guys, to the viewers again, thank you so much for checking us out. As you know, we're on YouTube. Please hit the like button, please hit the subscribe button, please give us a comment. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, yada yada yada. But happy Friday, everybody. So from me, Paddy and Dale, hail, have a good one.
And thanks to Kenny and Feed the Bear for the comments tonight. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate that.
Take care, guys. Take care. See you later.